In the 1950s, Las Vegas was already pulsating with neon rhythm, a city where night never slept, and pleasure became currency. But in that era, when the world held its breath before the threat of nuclear apocalypse, it acquired yet another, almost surreal trait. Nuclear explosions became its main spectacle. Just 65 miles to the northeast, at the Nevada test site, an area 3 times the size of Rhode Island, the United States from January 27, 1951 to 1962 conducted 100 atmospheric nuclear tests. The first test, under the code name Able, thundered on January 27, 1951, with a yield of 1 kiloton, illuminating the desert. Many of them occurred at dawn, so that the mushroom cloud would be better visible against the morning sky. And instead of fleeing from them, residents and tourists hurried to see them with their own eyes. Thus was born atomic tourism, a phenomenon in which fear was not banished, but invited for a cocktail. It was like watching fireworks, only this fireworks could wipe us off the face of the earth, recalled one eyewitness of those events. This was not just observation of something alien. It was mastering horror through consumption. People planned their evenings according to the detonation schedule. Every 3 weeks, the sky over the desert was torn apart by a mushroom cloud, and the whole city froze in admiring awe. "We watched the explosion like fireworks," recalled one of the eyewitnesses. "Only this fireworks could wipe us off the face of the earth." Sometimes the explosions were so powerful, up to 74 kilotons, as in the case of the Hood test on July 5, 1957, as part of Operation Plumbob, that the flash blinded even at a distance of 100 miles. The temperature at the epicenter reached millions of degrees, and the shock wave overtook the sound to first blind and then shake. Such detonations not only illuminated the sky, but also emphasized the fragility of human existence in the Cold War era, when each explosion reminded of the balance of power between superpowers. For example, during the Buster Jangle test in October-November 1951, when 7 explosions were conducted, including Sugar on November 19 with a yield of 1.2 kilotons, spectators in Vegas felt the ground tremble under their feet. It was here, in this strange marriage between fun and doom, that atomic aesthetics was born. Society's attempt not just to survive in the shadow of the bomb, but to dress it in an evening gown and seat it at the bar. This aesthetic permeated everything, from furniture design to children's toys. The Gilbert Company released Atomic Energy for Boys kits, in which children could experiment with real radioactive material. Magazines advertised atomic perfumes, and in movies heroes joked, "You are as hot as a nuclear reactor." This cultural wave reflected not only technological enthusiasm, but also a subconscious desire to normalize the uncontrollable, turning it into an everyday element of pop culture. "The atom is our friend," proclaimed school textbooks of those years, emphasizing patriotism and progress. No one understood this better than the entrepreneurs of Las Vegas. They saw in the nuclear tests not a threat, but a new kind of entertainment that could be sold. Benny Binion, owner of the famous Horseshoe Casino, was one of the first to use explosions in advertising. But the true symbol of the era became the Atomic Liquors Bar on Fremont Street. Founded in 1945 as Virginia's Cafe, it was renamed on August 1, 1952, not for fashion, but for marketing. Its roof turned into the city's most exclusive viewing platform. Here, with a glass of atomic cocktail in hand, the public waited for the sky to flare up. Bartenders served drinks in glasses decorated with glitter imitating radioactive dust, and waitresses wore dresses with mushroom cloud prints. This bar became not just an establishment, but a cultural center where social strata and emotions mixed, from delight to hidden anxiety. "This is the place where Adam meets alcohol," joked visitors, watching the Charlie test on April 22, 1952, which was broadcast on television and amplified the atomic boom. Among those who climbed to this roof were not only tourists. Mayors, mobsters, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Roy Rogers visited there. These names gave the event legitimacy, glamour, and even nobility. If Sinatra drank a cocktail under a nuclear explosion, then it was not a threat but a lifestyle. Once, after the particularly bright hood test on July 5, 1957, Sinatra allegedly said, "If this is the end of the world, then I want to meet it with a good scotch in hand." Such anecdotes emphasized how celebrities helped demystify the nuclear threat, turning it into an element of Hollywood charm. The Rat Pack often held atomic parties in bars like Atomic Liquors, where explosions became the backdrop for their performances. The hospitality industry quickly caught the wave. Hotels printed atomic calendars with the exact time of the next explosion, such as for the Teapot series in 1955. Hairdressers offered atomic hairstyles, sharp, tousled, as if irradiated by the desert wind. Bartenders mixed drinks with names like Plutonium Kiss or Mushroom Smoke. And in 1952, the first Miss Atomic Bomb contest was held. Female beauty, clad in a swimsuit and crown, became a metaphor for destructive power turned into an object of desire. She was beautiful as an explosion, newspapers wrote then. The winner received not only the title, but also a trip to Hollywood. After all, even Apocalypse had to have a happy ending. This contest, repeated in subsequent years, including the famous one in 1957, with Lee Merlin in a costume with a cotton mushroom, on May 24, emphasized the gender stereotypes of the era, where femininity was associated with controlled power. There is no single Miss Atomic Bomb, but each was radiant, noted historians, recalling the showgirls chosen for their glowing appearance. This was not just marketing. This was a cultural code. A society unable to control the nuclear threat decided to embrace it, adorn it, and put it on a pedestal. In 1954, Life magazine published a photo report, Nuclear Dawn over Las Vegas, where a family breakfasts on the terrace against the background of a mushroom cloud. The caption read, "New American Landscape." Such images emphasized how the atomic era integrated into everyday life, from toothpaste ads, "Protect your smile like America protects the world," to neon signs in the shape of atoms on casinos. But behind this shiny facade hid another reality, less glossy but more truthful. While some drank cocktails on roofs, others knocked out windows, repaired roofs, and felt the ground shake under their feet. The shock wave from the explosion reached Las Vegas a minute after the flash, first blinding light, then rumble, and then physical impact, as if the earth itself protested against human audacity. During the Apple II test on May 5, 1955, the wave knocked out windows in half the city's houses. School children recounted how their desks shook, and the teacher said, "Do not be afraid, this is just our bomb." These everyday incidents revealed the gap between official propaganda and the real experiences of residents. The ground shook as if an earthquake entered the room, complained billionaire Howard Hughes after a test in 1955. Howard Hughes, billionaire and owner of the Desert Inn, once complained that his luxury apartments were shaken so hard, as if an earthquake entered the room with the waiter. In suburban farms, livestock got burns, and some animals died not from fear, but from radiation, which authorities called safe. Farmers from Utah found their cows with fallen hair and ulcers on the skin, but they were told, "This is just sunburn." Such cases illustrated how local communities became unwitting victims of experiments, without adequate protection or information. Ranchers noticed burns on animals in the days after tests, noted reports on the Upshot Knothole series in 1953. And yet the official line was unchanging. Radiation dissipates in the atmosphere. You are safe. Scientists, generals, officials, all repeated the same thing. But behind these assurances hid a systematic underestimation of risks, or perhaps deliberate ignorance. Only decades later did studies show the wind carried radioactive fallout straight to Utah, Nevada, even California. People drinking milk from local cows, inhaling dust from fields, did not know they were already part of the experiment. The 1997 NCI report showed that from 1951 to 1958, radioactive iodine-131 from tests spread across the country. "We ate what grew on the land we did not know," said one of the survivors. "We trusted the government, and it did not warn us." The most insidious invisible guest was iodine-131, a radionuclide that, once in the body, settled in the thyroid gland. Children were especially vulnerable. Their growing bodies, greedy for iodine, absorbed radiation like a sponge. Years later, the number of thyroid cancer cases in regions downwind from the test site sharply increased. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, up to 60,000 people in the United States could have received an elevated dose of iodine-131 from dairy products alone. This was not theory. These were lives crippled quietly, without explosions, without drama. Such estimates emphasize the long-term consequences that affected generations born after the tests. Expected thyroid cancer cases from 10,000 to 75,000, read a 1999 estimate. But iodine-131 is just the beginning. Cesium and strontium-90, with half-lives of about 30 years, remained in the soil, in water, in bones. Strontium, chemically similar to calcium, built into skeletons, irradiating bone marrow from within. Cesium circulated through food chains, making every dinner potentially dangerous. Studies conducted in the 1990s by the Los Alamos National Laboratory showed that in some areas of Utah, the level of cesium-137 in the soil exceeded the background by 20 times, more than 30 years after the last test. These data reveal how contamination persisted, affecting ecosystems and health for decades. Radiation damages tissues, increasing the risk of cancer and birth defects, warned later reports on the impact on Native Americans, such as the Shoshone, whose lands were seized by the test site in 1951. These words are a counterpoint to the cheerful photographs of the 1950s, where families smile against the background of a mushroom cloud. Their euphoria. Here a long, slow price. Unknown long-term health impacts remain, noted experts in 2020, emphasizing the incompleteness of knowledge. Nevertheless, this duality is exactly what makes the history of Las Vegas so profound. It was neither pure propaganda nor pure self-deception. This was a complex psychological survival mechanism. If you cannot avoid the threat, make a holiday out of it. Government, scientists, and business worked as a single machine of faith. The state gave guarantees, science confirmed safety, and entrepreneurs turned fear into a commodity. All this happened in an era when patriotism was religion, and technological progress was the new messiah. The nuclear bomb, not a weapon of mass destruction, but proof of American greatness. School textbooks wrote, "The atom is our friend." In toothpaste ads, "Protect your smile like America protects the world." Each test is a step toward peace, assured the military during Operation Hardtack II in September-October 1958, with 37 explosions. And yet, even in this collective trance, fear did not disappear completely. It hid in pauses between explosions, in the trembling of cups on the table, in the question no one dared to ask aloud: what if they are wrong? Some mothers, noticing that their children got sick more often, began to whisper in church. But the voice of confidence sounded loudest, and it drowned out everything else. Very few knew about the risks in the 1950s, recalled survivors in St. George, Utah, where cancer increased from 1950 to 1980. Las Vegas was not the only place where nuclear weapons became a spectacle. Operation Buster Jangle in 1951 demonstrated the combat use of bombs before military and journalists. There, soldiers were first placed just 7 miles from the epicenter to test morale. The Red Wing tests in the Pacific chose surface detonations, not for efficiency, but for beauty. Water columns reaching the sky mesmerized even hardened military. One admiral wrote in his diary, "It was magnificent, as if God lit a cigarette." But in Vegas, it was unique. Explosions integrated into city life, as in the Smokey test on August 31, 1957, when soldiers were later checked for leukemia. But nowhere except Las Vegas did a nuclear explosion become part of everyday culture. Not an official event, not a training ground, but entertainment available to anyone who could afford a bar ticket and a cocktail. It was here that fear and fun converged in one space, creating a unique cultural hybrid, apocalypse as a party. In the 1950s, Vegas's population grew by 161% thanks to casinos and atomic tourism, note historians. Today, when the last atomic cocktail has long evaporated and mushroom clouds remain in archives, the history of Las Vegas sounds like a cautionary tale. It reminds, society can turn anything, even the threat of destruction, into a commodity if only it finds a way not to face the consequences. The Atomic Testing Museum in Vegas, opened in 2005, preserves artifacts, including photos of Miss Atomic Bomb. But radiation knows no boundaries of time. It does not disappear with fashion. It remains in the soil, in the body, in memory. "We watched the end of the world," wrote one contemporary, and thought it was the beginning of the show. And perhaps this is the essence of the era. We wanted to believe that we could control what surpasses us. That a beautiful cocktail, a good hairstyle, and a confident voice from the podium are enough, and apocalypse will become just another number in the program. But nature does not tolerate irony. And history always demands reckoning, even if it comes not immediately, but decades later in the form of a diagnosis, soil analysis, or a quiet question in old age. What were we thinking then? The legacy of the tests lives in bodies and politics, say modern reports on Nevada.